So my last 4 challenges with Isagenix were mainly for weight loss, did some toning, and then I even did a fitness competition. But I had no idea how life-changing this 5th challenge would be. So about a year ago, we go to our first ultrasound, and the technician then pulled us aside in like this cozy little room with all these like comfy chairs and like Kleenex boxes, and they tell us that they had found something wrong, and they said from what they can see, his left arm isn't developing, but they wouldn't know more because they needed more time and he needed to grow bigger. I was about 16 weeks pregnant when they kind of had a good idea about what was going on. So they said that from his shoulder to his elbow was normal. And then they thought he was going to be missing his forearm completely and a couple of his fingers. They had recommended that we do this procedure where they stick a whole bunch of needles in my tummy, they pull out DNA from the placenta, and they do like a bunch of genetic testing, because usually when there's a limb malfunction, there's secondary or third issues that go on as well. So they gave us the option to either continue the pregnancy without knowing if there was second issues or if we wanted to know. But my husband and I decided that we wanted to prepare and know what our future was going to look like. It was at about our 18-week ultrasound that they then pulled us back aside into that room and said that they had found some things wrong with his heart. Fast forward again a couple weeks, his heart had grew big enough that they had confirmed that he had a really big hole in the lower chambers of his heart, and he had his aortic arch didn't form at all, so he would need surgery to create one for him. He had his open heart surgery at just 5 days old. They went in, they patched the hole, they created an arch for him, and then they sewed him back up. And then later that day, we got to go into the room and see him for the first time. He had massive, massive tubes like in his stomach that was draining things. There wasn't a part on his body that didn't have something attached to him. We eventually got transferred to Calgary Hospital, where he spent the rest of his recovery once his heart was technically okay. We actually ended up getting discharged from the Children's Hospital and got to come home. So this 5th challenge I started about 10 days after Xander was born. I knew I needed something to keep me accountable for the smallest things. Like, I didn't want to starve myself. I didn't want to emotionally eat at night. I didn't want to be eating crap food all the time. I was already so emotionally and mentally drained that I didn't want to also be physically drained. It was important because everything else, like, I couldn't control. I couldn't control that he was in recovery. I couldn't control that he had a limb difference or heart defects. I couldn't control anything that was around me, but I could control how I was feeling and what I was putting into my body. Xander today is wonderful. He doesn't have his NG tube in. His recovery has been phenomenal. His vocal cord, we think, is healing. Look at this boy. Because he's super loud, so we're just assuming that that means it's healing. He's gaining weight really well. He's got such a personality, and he's just the best thing ever. This 5th challenge has been life-changing for me, and I just want other people to know that, like, it's possible for them as well. Yay!